everybody, Cone Dodger here. Welcome to another installment of Cone on the Road on a very rainy Thanksgiving day. This may end up being a slightly shorter Cone on the Road than usual. I am headed out to family's house to do the whole Thanksgiving dinner thing. Hopefully the rain doesn't destroy the audio, but we've got some important things that I wanted to go over. Mostly the fact that when you drive a manual car and you have wet shoes, you really just have to get used to the sound of that. That's gonna make for some awesome audio. But no, seriously, first and foremost, this is the first Thanksgiving, the first holiday season in 10 years I will not be working at a retail establishment. That is the happiest thing I have said in a very long time. I talked at the end of last month's Cone on the Road that there was going to be some decisions made, some big choices made in the coming weeks, and I did indeed choose to leave my workplace of 10 years on good terms technically, but things had reached a point where I no longer felt comfortable working there, so I have decided, and have been deciding for a long time, to try and make a go at sustaining myself through, you know, self-employment basically. I'm not going to go out there and say, hey, I'm a YouTuber, hey, I'm a Twitch streamer, because that's certainly not the case, as I plainly do not make livable income via that stuff. I'm very thankful, thankful. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to try and make this plunge, to try and make this adventure, and that is due to the income that you know, I have gotten from the video making, from Twitch, from obviously Patreon, and stuff like that. In about 5 minutes, I will realize that the magic of condensation has overcome our GoPro lens. Until then, enjoy some never-before-seen footage of me driving a Corvette Daytona prototype around Daytona. It's not as though I'm going to be in a position, though, where I can just say I'm full-time, 100% dedicated to doing that stuff, but it is a far larger ratio towards that than it used to be. So I'm very excited about that. With that comes some other changes. Most notably, I will be moving again for the 6th time in 10 years. This time, mostly due to that previous decision. Where I'm living now, I do pay a pretty low amount of rent, to be honest. However, I didn't want to be in a situation, because I rent a room out of somebody's house, and I didn't want to be in a situation where I ever just couldn't make rent or whatever, because, you know, that's just not the kind of person that I am. I don't like to put people in that situation, and I certainly don't want to feel that feeling of like having to go to somebody and say, I don't really have enough money to make rent this month. That's, especially at almost 31 years old, that's not a place where I want to be. Gosh, that clutch pedal. I guess there's the advantage to just plain rubber clutch pedals too. Anyway. So yeah, I will be moving. I am actually going to be moving in somewhere that is a house in need of remodeling. I am personally moving into the house. However, I am basically going to be moving into the attic space of the house that is currently unfinished. So I am going to finish the attic and pretty much live there. And then through the course of the next coming months, help remodel the house as a way to make, you know, the rent income, the way to make a living wage kind of deal, to try and give myself a few months to get on my feet fully doing this kind of stuff. I kind of said at the end of, you know, working my regular job, it was a make or break situation. I want to try and push to something, and if it doesn't work out, I have backup plans in mind. I don't, when I say make or break, break doesn't mean like game over, man. No, it just means, you know, obviously I'll have to try something different. Oh, I'm getting skilled. Usually I slide my foot along the clutch, but now I'm just like lifting my leg up. Learning new skills, trying to get good audio. So what does that all mean? What does that mean for this stuff? Well, I've already, hopefully you've noticed, been upticking some production in making content. It also means that maybe I can get back to doing some stuff that people enjoyed but I didn't have time to do, such as Assetto Corsa leagues or, you know, just hosted events like that. And hopefully it means that I can just, I don't want to change anything. I don't want to be, you know, I've never been the type to like obsess over stats. I've never been the type to really try to sell myself at all. That's just not kind of who I am. So I'm just going to continue doing what I was doing, but hopefully just have more time to dedicate to it and do more of it. Trying to make the transition phase as seamless as possible, but there may be some weeks where things are just, you know, too hard to balance, and I need to, you know, do work on the new living quarters because I don't want to put myself in a corner and be stuck with nowhere to be. So I need to, you know, obviously spend some time focusing on that. I'm gonna try doing some video, or maybe try to live stream the construction on what has been dubbed Cone HQ. So maybe look forward to that. I don't know yet. That's not set in stone by any means, but I can't say it enough. If it wasn't for viewers like you, this would have never even been an option. And I don't know what I would be doing or thinking right now, to be honest. I don't have a clue. Like, where would I have been, you know, 5 years? How do I word this? What would I have done differently 5 years ago if it wasn't going down this road? Where would I be now if I had never started doing this stuff? I have no idea, to be honest. I could be much better off. Who knows? Kurt was having a conversation on stream the other day about, he went to the Minecon Earth event in Seattle, and some of the kids there, like kids, children, were asking him, you know, what do I need to do to grow my YouTube channel? And his response, much like mine, is no. Yeah, it's crazy that kids, children, are 12-year-olds, you know, 10-year-olds are in that mindset, which makes me sad. Even I don't I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, how do I grow my YouTube channel? How do I grow as a, you know, an internet personality? Versus the kids and just generally people trying to get into this tend to put a lot of emphasis on that part of it, and not so much emphasis in what can I do? What do I want to do for fun? What kind of content can I make? What kind of new stuff can I be doing? What is the most fun for me? Those are the questions you should be asking, and those are the questions I still ask myself. Whenever I make a change, it's usually just a change towards, you know, what's going to make me happier day to day. The whole trying this thing, the quitting of retail jobness, that was a personal agenda thing. I need to do something to make me feel like I'm making progress, to make me feel like, you know, I have an actual agenda and goal. I'm working towards something, I'm making changes to be happier, so that's why I did it. Do I think that doing that will provide me instant success? No. There's some condensation on my GoPro lens. I have to find a safe place to stop. It's very moist out today, very moist. I wonder if I can just like slam the heater on. All right, where were we? We were doing something. We were saying something about something. It's now very warm in this car. Oh man. What were we talking about? I don't remember. Well, I guess we can just move on to something else then, huh? So with all that, what have I been up to? Basically, just trying to take care of some loose ends. Been really putting some time in on a Supra, and if you're following the Cone Dodger Motorsports channel, then you will see that the motor is back in, and we're actually getting close to getting that kind of back on the road. I don't know if it's going to be complete, but it'll be back on the road to the point where, you know, we can work on the progress for the other stuff on, you know, our own time, basically. That will be good. I am actually going to be keeping rent on the garage space that Cone's Garage is currently done in for a little while. I mentioned briefly the Assetto Corsa thing. Last weekend we did a short test of a new format for Assetto Corsa races, multiplayer races. Once again, getting kind of the community involved in races and stuff. It's something that I put a lot of effort into a year and a half ago, and unfortunately, kind of through many different factors, it just didn't quite work out the way I had planned. But now I've put a lot of thought into it, and now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, I'm willing to give it another crack. For all of that stuff, my primary focus is still, and always was, having fun and making a format that is comfortable enough for people new to sim racing to feel like they can have fun there. People that want to get into sim racing, as well as people like myself who have been doing sim racing a very long time but maybe don't do it on a professional level, and then people that are flat out professional sim racers. Sharky. Some kind of format where everybody can have fun, and everybody can, if they so choose, make the kind of let's play sim racing content that I make, because I still feel like I'm kind of the pioneer of that kind of content, and I would love to see more people take it on. And in fact, a lot of the guys that started with us in the Conelanders group have moved on to doing very good sim racing content. So it was successful in that regard. The unsuccessful part of it was it became far too pro sim racing like. I think a major part of that is I let other people's influence, who maybe didn't quite understand what my vision was for it, to not make it into a pro sim racing thing. I let that influence affect me too much. So my primary focus now is to try and keep that attitude, keep that mantra out of it as much as I can. And I think it's going to be more fun for everybody. I think it's going to be a much more positive experience. I still have to say, Gem Knight, turn your ears away, turn your eyes away, don't read my lips. Assetto Corsa is the most fun sim racing game on the market today. There's no other sim racing game out there that I feel as comfortable hopping into a car, racing, driving, lapping, and just knowing I can have fun with it. I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about it, but for me, that's just the way that it is, and that's the way that that it's been for many years. So over the coming months, one of the things I will be most dedicated to is getting that up and running. The test was very successful. I was very happy with how that all went, and it really does seem like there's something there. There's potential there, and potential is all I need. The only thing that I need to stay motivated towards something is potential. If there's the potential it could have success, then I'm golden, and I'm very dedicated to making it happen. So that is kind of that. Other than that, in sim racing world, I'm also going to be dedicating myself to a new challenge in iRacing in January. If the schedules work out, which I'm hoping they will, I will be running the Daytona 24-hour race in a Corvette Daytona prototype, probably with Gem Knight and some others. Depends on how well it goes. Oh man, this rain's so loud, I'm sure. I'm very sorry. It's Florida. What do you want me to do? What Florida weather does. I feel like I'm yelling to try and get over the rain. I have no idea if this is even audible. Sad. Anyway, you know, speaking of this microphone, so I have approximately 2.5-ish months that I am going to be doing pretty much nothing in iRacing besides practicing in the Daytona prototype and practicing towards the Daytona 24-hour. That's kind of a bold thing, because that means that we're probably not going to be doing much of an iRacing series or anything like that. But I did a race last week, this week, somewhere in here, I think it was this week, with Gem Knight and Yanes, because IMSA was there at Daytona, and I was appalled at my performance. Like, I gave it a few hours of practice, and then I just hopped in the race, and then it was a 75-minute race, and I figured by the end of that race, I would feel comfortable enough to just say, cool, yeah, I'm going to do the Daytona 24. And by the end of that race, I did not feel that way at all. So I obviously need to sharpen my skills in that regard. I will also be making a little bit of a challenge for myself in order to, I don't know, kind of inspire me to do that, because typically with iRacing, I need something to inspire me. iRacing, as it sits, doesn't usually inspire me too much, because it's kind of something that I don't personally dedicate enough time to do professionally or to do well in. So I have to have some kind of obtainable goal in order to keep dedicated to it. Previously, when I felt that way about iRacing, I started the iRacing Charity Challenge series, where I would do races and do donations based on my personal level of success to Child's Play charity. So I'm going to do something similar to that for the Daytona 24. I've not quite set it up just yet, but just know that I have something in mind, and I'm actually going to be working with a new charity group. Not that I'm like denouncing Child's Play charity or anything. They're still doing stuff for a great cause, but I've recently, over the past year, really started to feel inspired to work towards trying to. I really like the mission of, you know, getting books and games and stuff to kids that are sick in hospitals, because it's a focus on the mental side. It's a focus on making sure that children that are having a rough time physically can still live like kids and still be happy as kids mentally. So part of that I kind of want to try and focus on, and something that I was looking for, you know, a good charity to work with. All right, we're going a little slower now, so maybe you can actually hear me. The thing I was looking for was a charity group that specifically tried to provide mental health assistance and to try and break the barrier towards getting mental health assistance. But growing up, there was many cases where I felt like I recognized there was kids and people that were in desperate need of getting assistance with mental health regarded things, and there was always this social barrier or a financial barrier towards them actually obtaining it. So that was kind of the type of charity group I was looking for, and I put a thing out on Twitter and got some very great suggestions, one of which ended up coming from someone I very much so trust in the charity knowledge area. Recommended Anxiety Gaming, which I have looked into, and they seem like a very worthwhile and very much so on point with the kind of the kind of, you know, message, the kind of objective that I was looking for. So that is a charity that I will be working with in the future. You're welcome to check them out now, but I don't have anything specifically planned as of this moment, but they're the group that I'll be working towards in the future, trying to tie in something similar to what I used to do with the Charity Challenge series. We'll be doing that with the Daytona 24-hour. All right, I'm running out of time, so I want to quickly cap off with some other announcement things, just so everybody that might be involved with these things has time to make plans. I will be at PAX South again this year in San Antonio. Sounds like it'll be myself, Jonathan / Slag will be there as well. I know quite a few of the Farlander group is going, and quite a few, because they overlap, the communities overlap quite a bit, quite a few of our community will be there as well. So if you're in the Texas area, or if you were thinking of going to a PAX, I will be there. Kurt will be there, I'm 90% sure. And yeah, some other great people will be there. If you're not sure you're really into PAX, PAX South is the perfect one to go to, because that event is about as much about PAX as I am about cheese. I don't know, something I'm not really about. So yeah, I think it's a very good starter PAX if you would like to get into that. And yeah, we'll be certainly doing meetups and that kind of stuff there. I will also be going to the Rolex Daytona 24-hour again this year. Didn't go last year for PAX, but this year they're offset, so that's cool. So those are the two events that will be happening in January that I will be taking part in. And I'd certainly love to meet you guys. You've been so helpful and so amazing towards helping me out, and I would just really like to meet you, shake your hand, and say thank you. So, like I said, if you were thinking about it, there's maybe a little extra reason to go. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Some really big, important things that are happening. There might not be dramatic changes immediately, but hopefully over the course of the next 2 or 3 months, there will be notable improvement on things. I already feel better, not just physically, but mentally. I just feel better. Like I've said, making progress, doing things that feel like I'm bettering myself. Usually the best way for me to just to feel better, and it's working so far. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to repeat myself and say thank you, everybody who's helped out, who's watched live streams, who's watched me on YouTube, who's helped on Patreon, any way possible. You're amazing. Thank you for your support. I will see you next month for more Con on the Road.
And I'm very sorry about the audio, or you're very welcome if you're really into that rain ASMR.